Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name's Phoebe. I wanted to talk about something that I'm calling style imposter syndrome. I'm gonna be honest, I thought of this video because I feel like I have style imposter syndrome, meaning I feel like no matter what I buy or how much better I get at putting outfits together, I just don't feel the way that I think I'm gonna feel once I have them on. I could see an outfit that I think is so cool on Pinterest or on someone else, and I could literally go out and buy the exact pieces. And then once I put it on, I don't like it anymore. I think it's kind of a deeper issue of like, I've said this before on my channel ages ago. I kind of talked a tiny bit about this. When you just feel like you're innately not one of those like cool people, you feel like whatever you put on, you're not gonna look cool in it. I think I am getting better about that and just like giving way fewer F's about what I wear, and I'm getting better at figuring out my own personal style and relying less on recreating things and like kind of playing it safe by recreating rather than thinking of things myself. Because for a while I thought like, if I don't even like these outfits that I'm recreating, how am I gonna like outfits that I think of myself? Like, I just didn't trust my innate sense of style. And I feel like I've thought of a lot of tips and gathered a lot of things that have helped me. And I want to talk about it because I assume I'm not the only person who feels this way. Maybe I am, but I feel like everyone has some level of confidence issues or imposter syndrome in their daily life. And I think style is no different, especially if you're someone who is really into fashion. And especially like now that I'm making more fashion videos on YouTube, I feel like I put pressure on myself to prove it and like prove that I'm good at it. When in reality, a lot of the things that I like are really simple and that's totally fine. And my interest in style is still valid. I'm kind of starting to go off on a tangent, so I'm going to start by reading some of the things that I wrote down. So this video is kind of going to be like half how do you get over style imposter syndrome and half how do you embrace and find your own personal style. I heard this quote the other day that stuck with me so much and applies to multiple areas of my life, but I think is really relevant for this as well. It says, "A lot of people don't like the art that they make because it looks like they made it. And they think if they get better and better at it, eventually it won't look like they made it." I feel this way in terms of dance, in terms of art, a lot of things. I think that's a pretty relatable quote, but I realized it can also be applied to personal style because just like I was saying, like sometimes you don't like an outfit because it's you that's wearing it. And that sounds so dramatic and like unhealthy. But I guess like when you're really into fashion, you think if you keep getting better and better at putting outfits together, eventually you're not going to feel that way and you're not going to have that self-doubt. But if you have a basis of that kind of self-doubt, no matter what you put on, that's the lens that you're going to look at it through. That's why it's so easy to love outfits on other people, outfits that you wouldn't even necessarily pick for yourself, but you just love it because you're not in your head about it when it's someone else wearing it. You're way more in your head about it when you have it on, and you're more in your head about how others are perceiving you. Whereas when you're viewing it on someone else, you're just like enjoying and appreciating it, and there's no reason to be scrutinizing it. So if you feel like you might have style imposter syndrome and you find it hard to feel confident in your choices, I have some tips for you. My first tip is to stop asking yourself, would insert fashion icon wear this? So whoever you're obsessed with at the time, it could be an influencer, could be one of your friends, could be someone on TV, someone that you have in your head as like one of your main style inspirations. I think it's really easy to get sucked into choosing by trying to anticipate if that person that you look up to would wear it. When I was in high school, my number one fashion icon was Rachel Green from Friends. I wanted to be exactly like her. So I can remember choosing things, buying things, and wearing things solely based on the fact that I could see Rachel Green wearing it. It's totally fine to have fashion inspirations. Like, that is still your own preferences. You enjoy that person because you already have those certain preferences that they kind of align with. But to put all of your choices through that like really strict filtering system is going to completely limit you, and you're going to lose sight of what your own style is at one point. My caveat to this tip is that yes, you should stop asking yourself if your fashion icon would wear this, but I think you should ask yourself, if I saw my fashion icon wearing this, would I be inspired by it? So what I mean by that is like if I saw a pair of pants that I really liked and it wasn't Rachel Green's style, I couldn't really see her wearing it. Instead of saying, okay, I couldn't see that person wearing it, so I don't like it anymore. I'm going to say, if I saw Rachel Green wearing these pants on Friends, would I be like, oh my God, I love those? And usually the answer is often going to be yes, because if you were drawn to that, visualizing it on someone that you look up to, you would probably really like how that looks, because a lot of the times it's just the person that you look up to making those clothes look cool. So if you can kind of flip the script, it might give you a different lens to look at it through that kind of confirms your own preference rather than negates it, if that makes any sense. If there's something that you like and you pass it up because you don't think your fashion icon would wear it, or not a lot of people are wearing it, or you think that people are going to judge you for wearing it, once you see someone that you deem cool enough wearing that thing, you're going to be kicking yourself that you didn't just wear it. In high school, I remember really wanting to wear big hoop earrings. And I remember being like, oh, people are going to make fun of me. At the time, like everyone was just wearing like small pearl studs. And I remember being like, I'm going to get called out for wearing these big hoops. People in high school used to literally say, the bigger the hoop, the bigger the hoe. And I didn't want to deal with that. So I never wore big hoop earrings. And then like a year later, they came into trend. And I was like, what the hell? I liked this before and I just didn't wear it because I thought people would make fun of me. And now like nothing about hoop earrings have changed besides people's perception of them. I just felt silly for not going with my own preference when I had it. So to sum up that first tip, stop trying to anticipate what other people that you look up to would wear or wouldn't wear. Going off of that, my second tip is to stop comparing yourself to your friends, to influencers, or to your Pinterest board. This is kind of an obvious one, but I want to explain it in a way that could be helpful. Like I said, if you're super into someone's style at the moment, it can be really easy to put on an outfit that maybe you used to like or you're a little bit drawn to, and then once you have it on, you think, this is so not that style that I have been into lately, so therefore I don't like it anymore. But I bet if you write down a list of all of your style inspirations, so write down a few friends whose style you love, write down a few characters or influencers or whatever. If you write down all of your fashion inspirations, I bet all of those people will have different styles than each other. Maybe similar, but I bet at least one of them will have totally different styles than the other people. And just kind of use that fact to prove to yourself that good style can exist in so many different ways. Good style that you like can exist in so many different ways. It's kind of like that cheesy saying that's like, sunsets don't compare themselves to flowers or something because they're both different and beautiful or whatever. You can have good style even if it looks nothing like other people that have really good style. Just because things are different doesn't mean that one is good or one is bad or one is better than the other. Fashion is not like that. It's just supposed to be something that you play with. Zoom way out. We live on a floating rock. There is no good or better or best in fashion. It's just whatever you like. And if your outfit doesn't perfectly reflect that high fashion icon person that you look up to at the moment, who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that it's not still good style. My next tip is to stop trying to recreate outfits. Just take inspiration, don't copy. If you see an outfit on Pinterest that you're super drawn to, try to figure out what it is that you were drawn to about that outfit. Was it the combination of silhouettes? Was it one piece in particular that you loved? Was it the combination of colors? Was it how they had their hair while wearing a certain neckline? And then once you figure out what you like about that outfit, have that in your head, put your phone away, and then go in your closet and try to emulate that. Don't keep picking up your phone and referencing that photo over and over again to make sure you're getting the outfit perfectly. Trying to get things exactly right is just always going to make you disappointed because you're never going to be able to get it exactly right unless you go out and buy all of the exact pieces that that person has. And that is obviously just not a sustainable way to keep up your style. The other thing is if you keep referencing that photo and try to recreate it as closely as you possibly can, you might accidentally pay attention to the wrong details of the outfit. If the outfit that you love is, I'm just spitting off the top of my head, white cargo pants, moto boots, and a brown sheer top, and you don't have all of those exact pieces. There are several ways you could go about trying to make a similar outfit, but they're not all going to be satisfying to you if you focus on the wrong things. You might go with white linen pants, a brown cami, and riding boots because they technically look the most similar to the outfit that you were looking at. Those outfits side by side are going to look pretty similar because they're the same colors and same cuts for the most part. But maybe the thing that actually caught your eye was the combination of a cargo pant with a sheer top. And you've totally lost that because you were focusing on the colors and trying to make it visually look as similar as possible. So maybe you should have chosen your green cargo pants that you have and your gray sheer top, even though that looks starkly different than white and brown. There's no universal right answer for how to emulate outfits that you like, but just figure out the one key thing that you liked and were drawn to about that outfit. Put your phone away and go focus on that and try to see what you can build from your own clothes. Don't even concern yourself with how similar the outfits are going to look at the end. My next point is don't get too in your head about trends either way. I feel like I've fallen into both mindsets of trying to keep up with the trends and then also trying to not look trendy and basic. But literally, who cares? Neither mindset says anything about your personal style. Trying to run away from looking basic or trendy doesn't really say anything about your personal style. It just says something about your confidence and how you want people to perceive you. And it's the same with chasing trends. Chasing the trends does not say anything about what you like. Neither are right and neither are wrong. If you like a trend, wear it. If you don't like a trend, don't wear it. Choosing things based on your preferences is going to be what helps you find your personal style. Like, duh, what a concept, but it's so hard for so many people, including myself, to stay true to. Okay, so maybe you're like, yeah, I get it. I need to dress how I want to dress. I need to dress based on what I like, not what I think I should like. But what if I don't even know what I like? I've felt like this sometimes where I'm like, I don't know, I can't even tell or decipher if I like that or if it's just in and I've seen it a lot and I've seen a lot of people I look up to wear it. How do I even figure out my personal style and what I like? Here's a few things that you can ask yourself. What did I used to love wearing as a kid? This is kind of like that question people ask, like if you don't know what you want to do with your life or you don't know what career you want, they ask you what you like to do as a kid. It's the same principle where it's like, what were you drawn to before you knew anything about the world, before you were taught anything about what you should or shouldn't like or should or shouldn't do? What were you at your purest just drawn to? Of course, cuts and styles and stuff are going to be different than they were when you were a kid. And just like dressing your adult body is going to be different than dressing your child body. But remembering what you were drawn to as a kid, especially if you were someone who loved fashion and loved picking out outfits and getting yourself dressed as a kid, remembering what you were drawn to can give you a lot of clues as to what your personal style might be. Is there a color or a style or a cut of something that you always felt drawn to or felt good in when you were young? When I was young, and I mean like elementary school age, I was always drawn towards browns and maroons and burnt orange and olives, those kinds of colors. And I was so young, I obviously wasn't thinking in terms of like color seasons or looking at my skin tone super closely. I wasn't really focused on that. I just knew that I was drawn to those and I felt good when I put them on. And in my journey of trying to like reconnect with my own personal style, I've recently realized that those are still the colors that I feel like I look the best in. You have an innate sense of style and like an innate knowing of your preferences when you were young that you can kind of get detached from when you grow up and start to take on a bunch of like pressures and limiting beliefs and expectations and stuff. I also loved the way I looked in bootcut jeans and a tank top and either clogs or cowgirl boots. Those were like my go-to uniforms as a kid. Those were my favorite things to wear. And I've strayed away like in and out of wearing those things depending on the trends. But now that I'm older and I'm trying to dissociate from the never-ending trend cycle, I realize that those are still pieces I love. I love how I look in bootcut jeans. I feel like I always will. I love the way I look in like a platform clog. I love the way I look in cowgirl boots. Those are just things that I love and feel so me in. And maybe I feel me in them because they're familiar to me and I wore them a lot as a kid. Or maybe I feel so much like me in them because those are just my pure preferences, as is reflected in all the outfits that I wore as a kid. The next thing you can ask yourself is, what styles and outfits are you inspired by in real life, in real physical life? It's easy to like an outfit on Pinterest because they're usually aesthetically pleasing photos. They're surrounded by other aesthetically pleasing photos, and they're usually on conventionally attractive people. Pinterest is just like a board of aesthetically pleasing, beautiful things. So that's the context that you're seeing an outfit in. So it's easy to feel drawn to it. It's easy to like an outfit that your favorite influencer wears. If you already think that they're super cool and can do no wrong, it's easy to want to recreate their outfit so that you can feel as cool and fashionable as you perceive them to be. But what has caught your eye out in the real world? What have you been drawn to that someone you don't even know has worn? What have you liked the look of in the context of real life situations? That can give you clues. On the completely opposite end of the spectrum, you could try gathering inspiration from fashion magazines or like fashion photography books. We're so used to getting inspiration from Pinterest and social media, both of which show us more of what we've already seen. Pinterest has an algorithm that just keeps showing you things that are similar to what you've saved before. So it just keeps confirming things that you like, things that you have already told it that you like. You're just going to keep seeing similar things. You're not really going to see a breadth of styles. Pinterest also promotes what a lot of people are saving, which means it's going to promote trends. Social media is going to show you what influencers that you've chosen to follow are wearing. And like I said, it's easy to think that you like their outfit just because it's them wearing it. Fashion magazines and books, on the other hand, don't have an algorithm, so they show you an actual breadth of styles. And usually you don't know the people in them. Unless you're super into fashion to the point where you know a lot of models, you're not going to be flipping through the pages knowing exactly who these people are. It's definitely worth mentioning that most models in the fashion industry, even still today, are thin white women. So it's not the best in terms of like getting a good idea of how most people will look in that same outfit or that same style. But I would argue that the same can be said about social media and Pinterest. It's really not all that much better. So if you go into it with a mindset of just looking at the styles and the pieces and the general structure and cuts of these pieces, you can learn a lot about what you're drawn to in a context that isn't pushing what you already have told the internet that you like or what everyone else is telling the internet that they like. See what styles you're drawn to in that context, and it can give you clues as to what your personal style might be if you weren't always influenced by social media and Pinterest. The next thing you could ask yourself is, what would you want to wear if you were doing a photo shoot alone? Sometimes we subconsciously or even consciously dress different around different people. And I'm not even just referring to like how you dress in a professional setting versus a night out versus hanging out with your grandma. Like those are obvious. But even like how you dress around one friend group versus another friend group versus your sister versus your partner. Those are all pretty casual settings where you could probably wear whatever you want. But I have still found myself dressing slightly differently depending on who is going to be there and what I think they'll probably be wearing. It's not a horrible thing to do. It's like totally fine to dress slightly differently depending on who you're around. But if you're in a rut with your personal style, it can be a good exercise to figure out what you would want to wear if you were all alone. I say doing a photo shoot because if it were me just alone all day not doing anything, I would literally just stay in sweats, to be completely honest. But if I were getting dressed for a photo shoot that is just of me, not of anyone else, just of me, and I had to think about what I want to be pictured in, I feel like I would be more swayed towards choosing an outfit that I love and that reflects my personal style, not in the context of being around anyone else. Lastly, I just want to remind you that you cannot get fashion wrong. You're allowed to follow trends. You're allowed to not follow trends. You're allowed to have multiple different personal styles. You're allowed to have one super niche out there style that you never stray from. You're allowed to dress basic. You're allowed to dress loud and quirky. You're allowed to completely copy outfits from Pinterest. I don't actually care. I still do it sometimes. You're allowed to follow my advice or follow none of it at all. And most importantly, you're allowed to call yourself a fashion girly, no matter what of these categories you fit into. If you like fashion, you like fashion. Who cares how you express that? You literally cannot get it wrong unless you're doing it all for the opinions of other people. If you if you like an outfit, there is no way it's wrong. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you got something out of this. I hope it was either motivating or inspiring or just comforting to hear. I know not everyone thinks about fashion as deeply and as often as I do, and this might not be relatable at all, but I just wanted to make it for the people who need to hear it, because I would have loved to hear someone say all of these things when I have gotten totally in my head about my own style. And chances are, if you clicked on this video, you're a fashion girly or guy. So I just hope you got something out of it. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you liked it, and I'll see you with another one next week. Bye, guys.